What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, okay, making their debut on the channel tonight. I had to do a double take there because I'm looking at this title, look at the name of the band, like MUCC. They're called MUCC. No, they're not called MUCC. I've been told this in the past. It's pronounced MUCC. Yes, indeed. How about that? MUCC making their debut on the channel. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbity-bobbity bop, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. Yeah, sorry to spoil that for all of you that were hoping I was going to mispronounce it and make a fool of myself. Not this time. No, I was well informed. It's pronounced MUCC, so take it. This comes as a request from Krauser and Pirun. They both want to see me react to this song by MUCC. Now here's where I'm going to blow it. With a song entitled Bouzenjishitsu.
What did he say?
Now, have I heard this song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait, I've heard this song before, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Let's see, this was posted by, here's another one, Akinazora69. Why not? We'll go with that. And the video has 327,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. MUCC, Bouzenjishitsu, I hope I pronounced that right. Live at Makuhari Messe. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
I'll do the same thing when my bass being's muted. Bop, 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 bop. I'll do the same thing. Yeah, come on, you can do better than that. That was like a fast-paced song. Can't wait for them to kick into it. Build. Utilizing the bass to lead into the breakdown section. I love that, man. That's great.
I love it. I love everything about it.
That is great. You don't hear too many bands do that. I wish more bands would take that approach. It makes so much sense. When you really think about it, it makes perfect sense. Lower range instrument leading us into this super heavy, low register breakdown section that switches from straight time feel to halftime feel. That is so appropriate. It really is. When you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Why don't more bands do that? I don't know. I like that breakdown. Very heavy, it's heavy. And what I liked about it, I mean, yes, we switched to the halftime feel. That's true. But what I liked about it the most is it was tight. As far as everybody's playing rhythmically, it was tight, but at the same time, it was still just a little bit loose in the guitar. In particular, in the guitar had just a little bit of bleed over at the end of every single one of the chords that were played. Gave it just a little bit of dirt, tastefully done dirt, keeping it organic, not letting it become sterile, which I appreciate, especially considering the fact that we're in a live setting. So that was really nice to hear. The drumming, really nicely done. I like what's happening with the drumming, bass playing, guitar playing. Instrumentally, I'm really enjoying everything I'm hearing. Vocally, he's not doing anything wrong. Everything he's doing makes sense. On the chorus, we kick into it. Absolutely. Crank it up. When we're in the verses, everything's a little more subdued. He stays a little more subdued. Not almost spoken word, but not quite. There's definitely melodics happening in there. There's a melodic line that he is following, but his approach is following a style kind of like spoken word. I like it. I like the dynamic shift. I like that sudden change. It just adds to the transition from phrase to phrase that's happening within the music. No problem there. Live show looks good. The only thing I haven't seen in the live show, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't seen any stage interaction. But we've seen everything else. Stage presence, stage energy, crowd interaction, definitely. Showmanship, yeah, it's all there. Production, I'll give it production. The lighting is definitely designed for the song. Just out of curiosity, because I know when it comes to J-rock bands, there's a lot of different classifications of J-rock bands. Okay, two-part question. One, how does this band themselves or the J-rock community as a whole how do they classify this band? And how would you, as a fan, if you're a MUCC fan, how would you classify them? Do you agree with the way that the J-Rock community in general classifies these guys? Or do you disagree? Do you think they deserve a different classification? I don't know. I'm not a fan of these guys. I've never really followed them. I've heard a couple of their songs, but this is not a band that's really on my radar. So but after this song, that might change. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know, how they are actually classified, either by themselves or by the J-Rock community as a whole. I'm really curious to know how you guys would classify these guys. Let's get back and let's oh wow, we're almost done. Let's finish this up and we'll get to the review. Crowd is absolutely into it. Switch to halftime. Nice. I honestly have no complaints. Honestly, I'm trying to. I'm looking for something. I'm replaying this in my head, and I'm trying to find something to complain about it. Honestly, I have no complaints. None. We're going to talk about all of this in the review. So let me get my thoughts together. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was MUCC, and I'm probably blowing the pronunciation and the name of this song, but I'm going to give it my best anyway, with a tune entitled Bouzenjishitsu. This was a request from Krauser and Peer Run. Okay, I got a score. The score makes perfect sense to me. Very well-deserved score, and we're going to talk about everything that got them to that score. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that an 8.2. Yep, 8.2. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, an 8.2. What does that mean? Well, an 8.2 would translate to a great skill rating, so overall, I think this was a great presentation. It would also get 4 to 5 stars and an A- letter grade, so there you go. An 8.2, great skill rating, 4 to 5 stars, and an A- letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. Let's start with the songwriting. It's interesting. I don't know about you guys. I don't know what you guys were hearing or what you guys were feeling, or if you guys were getting any, hints of other bands in what they were playing and how they were playing. Call me crazy, but I was kind of getting hints and vibes of Slipknot. So, I mean, there's that. I mean, that was interesting on its own. Mostly from the tone, like the guitar tone, very Slipknot-ish in its tone and delivery. The subdivision work, relying everybody playing together except the drummer. The drummer, okay, drummer was in the mix, yes, they're all playing with the drummer, but drummer really focusing on the kick, keeping the kick going, while bass and guitar were doing a lot of other syncopated subdivision work in a very heavy style. I like that. I do. I think that sounded really nice. Guitar playing sounded really good as a whole. I got no issue with anything that was happening within the guitar playing at all. Bass playing sounded really good, sounded tight, locked in. I liked what was happening during the intro, where if they were trying to get the crowd to start clapping, and rather than the bass player, clapping his hands like this to try to get the crowd going, he started, he muted the strings with his left hand while he was, thumping away with his right thumb to, get that pulse going. I do the same thing quite often. It's very effective. And for those of people who complain about, clapping over the head looks cheesy, well, here you go. Here's an easy fix. Here's an easy solution. Personally, I don't have a problem with clapping the hands over the head. I think it looks good from a visual standpoint, but maybe from an audio standpoint, maybe thumping on the strings is a little more effective, but yeah, I guess it depends on the mood. So, but I saw him do it and I just had to chuckle. I was like, I do the same thing. That's pretty funny. The drumming on this was nice. I like the switching between the straight time and the half time. Very appropriately done in very appropriate places. Going into that breakdown section, switching to the halftime for that section in particular, but also allowing the bass player to kind of lead it in, which I've never thought about this before, and until I heard it, and I was like, why don't more bands do that? Why don't more bands, when it comes to leading into a breakdown section, why don't more bands allow the bass player to lead them into it? I think that's really smart, utilizing the lower register instrument into a halftime breakdown section. More bands need to kind of follow suit on that, I think. Vocally, if I'm being honest, I think the vocalist absolutely stole the show on this. I loved everything the vocalist did. Number one, probably the biggest thing for me was the balance between grit and growl vocal and clean melodic vocals. Mostly, I would say 75 to 80% of the song was clean vocalization. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
But the grit and growl vocal was definitely made its presence felt. It was definitely there in the mix without question. Honestly, in the chorus, which I think made sense considering the fact that the rest of the song was dominated by clean vocalization. Now, the vocalization that was done cleanly, it was done in a borderline, not quite, but in a borderline spoken word style. There was definitely melodics happening. I'm not saying he wasn't singing, but the style, the delivery was done, the attitude was done almost in a spoken word style, which I think works for the song really well. As subtle as it was in the verses. Got no issue with it, no complaints about it whatsoever. I think everything was done really well, and if I'm being honest, I would give the song on its own, I think it's a really good song. I would give it like, the song on its own, I would give like a 7.7, 7.8, somewhere in there. So why am I giving this an 8.2 when I think the song deserves a 7.8? If you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you know what I'm going to say, folks. So take a deep breath and say it with me, kids.
Say it out one time.
A live show can help your score or it can hurt your score. In this case, it helped. It helped in a pretty significant fashion. Let's go down the checklist. Let's see if they checked everything. Stage presence, check. Yeah, they definitely have a nice presence about them. Their outfits, there was face makeup on, or face paint on the lead vocalist, but it's subtle. It's not like Kiss, it's far more subtle, and I like that. It looks good. It definitely makes them stand out without question. So yeah, stage presence definitely there. Stage energy, check, throughout the song. I mean, I really didn't catch any point in time where somebody wasn't moving in some way. Now, granted, some of the time the movement was a little more subtle, especially coming from the lead vocalist, but there were other times where the movement was explosive. So, yeah, stage energy was pretty consistent through the entire performance. Stage interaction. I didn't see any. Not that I could see. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see any stage interaction. So unfortunately, that one gets a 0. That one gets a big old goose egg. Not the most important out of the 5 main things, but it's kind of important. But moving on to the next one, which in my opinion is the most important, crowd interaction. Oh yes, lots of crowd interaction. The call and response between the vocalist after the breakdown section, I like that. The whole intro, very well done. Great way to get the crowd going. If I'm being honest, it almost got to be too long. But when they actually kicked into the song, just before they kicked into the main riff, I was starting to think, okay, let's wrap this up. It's time to move on, and they did. So I mean, it didn't go on for too long. They did just enough to get the crowd going, and that was really well done. But there was just constant crowd interaction throughout the song, which I was really happy to see. The crowd was into this. Now, I don't know if this was a super popular song for them or not. I don't know if this was a big hit for them, but I could tell the crowd knew it because the crowd was right with them, like practically as if it was scripted for the crowd to be, all on the downbeat. When they switched to the halftime section, everybody started headbanging in the halftime style. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know if this is a popular song or not, but I mean, it's enough that the crowd knows it, and the crowd was absolutely into it. So yeah, that was good to see. Showmanship, yes, check, absolutely. Putting on a great show. Lead vocalist, it feels like the lead vocalist has a character that he plays. I mean, I don't know if I'm right about that, but it definitely seems that way with him kind of, skulking around. And I would almost say at times when he was up on the riser, it was almost like he was slithering around, and definitely eye-catching, without question. You can't help but have your eyes drawn to him when he's doing stuff like that. So yeah, showmanship was definitely there. Production, between the outfits and the makeup and the lighting on the stage, yes, I'm absolutely going to give that a check. I'm curious, do they do more when it comes to production? This seems to me like this is the kind of band that would utilize production a little bit more than we saw in this song. Like I could see this band utilizing, I don't know about flash pots. I don't know about, I don't know about squibs, but I could definitely see some pyro, in particular phosphorus pyro. I could totally see that utilized. Purple flames, green flames. I could totally see that. High intensity flames, though, don't get it mixed up. And I could also see cryo usage for a band like this without question. I'm curious, do they do other songs during the course of their set list? Do they utilize pyro, or do they utilize cryo? Do they utilize more production? It seems like they would. So I'd be curious to see them utilize more. No, overall, their live show definitely was brought. It was what they were doing on stage and how they executed the performance on stage definitely matched up with the song without question. So yeah, 8.2, absolutely, for the live show. That definitely helps out quite a bit. In closing, I mentioned this during the reaction, and I'm just going to mention it again. It's a 2-part question. Number 1, in the J-Rock community as a whole, or even with the band themselves, how do they classify themselves? I'm really curious to know. And then, as a MUCC fan, how would you classify them? Would you agree with the generalization of them being classified within the J-Rock community, or with the band themselves? Or do you feel they deserve a different classification? I'm really curious to see in the comments what people say. Having said that, let's keep it clean, let's keep it respectful, and let's not get into a huge argument and getting personal and start name calling and stuff. Debate, absolutely debate, without question. But let's keep it respectful, and let's try to look at both sides of the coins, all right? So in any case, 8.2, I feel good with that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have an 8.2, which is a great scale rating, 4 to 5 stars, and an A- letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care, whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.